This is VC Team Masters Zeta versus PRX. Both teams shocked the world with their incredible underdog runs, and now they face off against each other in the lower bracket semifinals. Loser gets eliminated, everything is on the line. Let's see what happens. PRX start with a 1-3-1 opening. They have 3 players towards mid to fight for early mid control. Mindfreak deploys this Viper Wall towards B. This Viper Wall denies defenders info into B long. Most importantly, it blocks off Snowman, Top Sight, and Orange, letting attackers safely scale up and plant on site. This Viper Wall is incredibly powerful and versatile. Zeta opened with a 2-1-2 setup. On Icebox, attacking Vipers like to throw this Viper Smoke mid almost every round as a default. Usually, defenders only need to invest 1 player at Boiler to hold all of mid, but that default Viper Smoke denies the Boiler player that mid info. This allows attackers to walk up tube, go under tube into Orange, or through the smoke towards A. So Zeta is set up around that smoke. Crow is holding mid from Boiler, 10 is holding under tube from top of B site, and they have Laz's chamber trip in kitchen. There are no openings in mid. On B, Sugar Zero deploys this horizontal Viper Wall in front of yellow. This tells us that his game plan is to give up B long in yellow and use that wall to 1. Delay a push, and 2. Use that wall for retake. On the A side, Laz is playing close 410 with a shorty. He's gonna get a cheeky kill with the shorty and then TP to safety back site. He has a chamber trip to his left and Sugar Zero's Viper Smoke to his right, and Depp is starting top gen to get early info. This is a solid stall setup on A. So this opening setup from Zeta seems unbeatable. How will PRX respond to this? The round starts and PRX sprint forward and triple Ferrari peek mid. Crow is forced to duck back and PRX immediately run towards B. They're trying to get an unexpected timing into B main. Now you may be wondering, why does this matter? Well, when attackers immediately show that much mid presence off the start, defenders will generally respond by either rotating mid and contest mid together, leaving B long and A side weak, or they will give up mid and the B players will push B long to maintain control of that space. After all, if you're a defender and you think you're getting split on, it's better to look for a 2v2 or a 2v1 than get pinched and fight a 2v5. PRX know this standard defender reaction too. By showing heavy presence mid, they know that B long will be weak. Or if Zeta decides to aggress B long, PRX will surprise Zeta with 4 players in B main. Either way, PRX will get B long control. This is how great teams manipulate rotations to create advantages. Crow recons mid and the recon sees nothing. That's strange, Zeta's thinking. What is PRX up to? Deb rotates out of A and starts working up mid for more info. Meanwhile, PRX is grouped up as 4 with full control of B long. They're rewarded with a free all orb. Cool, PRX have B long control, they're in position to execute B. But wait, why is this spike still on the A side? Listen closely. Forsaken makes a bunch of stomping noises up B long while the rest of the team silently walks away from B.
Comes through towards B main, a much deeper hold.
Sugar Zero could be first contact potential.
Depp walks down mid for mid-round info. He doesn't see anyone crossing mid, and PRX hear footsteps running up B long. So Zeta are convinced it's going to be a B hit and stack 4 players towards B. PRX crosses mid at that exact moment, unseen by Zeta. PRX split up, 3 mid and 2 A main, to transition into an A split. So that's why they left the spike towards A. Because Zeta are stacked B, they basically have a non-existent mid hold and only 1 lone player on A. PRX perfectly set the stage up for an A split with the perfect macro. That is amazing.
Actually, they're slicing through middle. Forsaken looking for the fight, doesn't quite get it yet. And still eyeing up that ace. It looks like a crunch.
Laz is alone on A, about to get pinched.
How much is going to get out?
And he gets completely overwhelmed. 10 and Sugar Zero swarm Forsaken, who's fighting alone in mid.
If the PRX, the plant comes in, this split is...
Mindfreak is playing in an aggressive position up close in screens. Devi walks out backside, getting in position to play off Mindfreak.
The other side of this wall here. Yeah, the first damage comes through, but he's actually found there.
Devi, though, still deadly! Just delivering damage! 3 back to back!
And Devi goes nuclear, securing the pistol round for PRX. Oh geez. Even though PRX won pistol round, only 2 of their players full bought Spectres. The rest decided to stay on pistols. I'm personally not a big fan of this, but after a bit of thinking, I do get the philosophy behind this decision. Basically, they're giving up a guaranteed win in round 2 for a stronger bonus in round 3, which will hopefully lead to a greater advantage in the full buy in round 4. And they can only do this because Devi will have his chamber up online by round 4. If you're confused now, don't worry. All you need to know is that PRX is making this round, which should have been free, a lot harder for themselves for a bigger payout later on. And the consequences are high if they lose. So this is a round PRX cannot afford to lose. Both teams have literally all their players starting on A. Zeta did their homework and gamble stacked the right site. We are about to witness an all-out 5v5 brawl on the A site.
Still having that nice backup plan, but a stack coming in for Zeta. So again, see if they get anything here, if it gets fed out early, already going to be a pixel out of place. So PRX probably aware that there's something, but let's see if the kills come through. They are in a bit of a pinch, but again, superior weaponry No light armor, nothing really apart from Laz and Sugar Zero doing some work. That should be really about it. 10. I mean, that's not bad, and he's just shoulder peeked another. He knows what's up.
The Dust Shadows and PRX come out on top. They're able to take their 2 Spectres into the next round. In other words, this is basically the ideal scenario PRX were going for. The risk paid off for PRX. They are now entering their bonus round with 2 rifles and 2 Spectres against Zeta's full buy. This buy, along with the Vi's Chamber Deagle, have some serious potential to upset this round, or at least do a lot of damage to Zeta's economy. PRX open with 3 mid, 1 towards A, and Silver and Spawn, looking to throw a shock dart lineup to break Laz's Chamber Trip in Kitchen. Since the Vi is carrying the spike towards A, it seems like PRX are looking to execute an A split. Zeta open with a 1-1-3 setup. This setup is heavily stacked towards A. Zeta have definitely done their prep because this is yet another perfect read. PRX are about to A split into 4 Zeta players. Let's see how this turns out. The berries drop, Depp and Laz get aggressive on A. This is really strong because there's a ton of vertical angles and off angles on Icebox, which Jet and Chamber can both abuse because they have abilities that can bail them out of those risky positions if needed. Depp is pre-aiming at the common silver recon spot, Laz is posted belt at an off angle under pipes. This is a scary aggressive setup. Benkai shoots a shock dart lineup for the Chamber Trip in Kitchen. It actually misses because the shock dart usually lands to the left of Kitchen and Laz put his trip towards the right. Benkai regroups with the Vi on A. PRX start working into an A split. 3 players of PRX walk up mid, Forsaken updrafts on top of Tube, drawing Crow's crosshair upwards as the PRX players lower swing out of the Viper smoke for a triple peek. Crow gets pushed back to Boiler. Forsaken smokes Boiler and dashes into his smoke.
What it wants, Crow's got contact towards middle, has to fall away, respect the pressure. Noted Forsaken, but he's got so much to deal with. Quick, dispatch!
Crow and 10 dismantles PRX's mid players. The mid side of the A split has fallen, so the PRX players A main need to push up to take this 2v1 against Laz before the rest of Zeta regroups with them. But Laz, pushed up in an aggressive off angle, takes down the Vi, but overheats and dies to Benkai. And eventually, Benkai gets surrounded and taken down by Sugar Zero. Fantastic read from Zeta to stack towards A, and a great mid hold from Crow and 10. But remember, even though PRX had some rifles, that was their bonus round. The next round is where the game truly begins. Both teams are finally on full buys. PRX open with 4 B main and 1 mid. They want to execute B through B long, and Sugar Zero is going to throw his Viper smoke mid to deny Zeta's mid player's info. This mid smoke is going to be especially scary since PRX have already shown that they're more than willing to use it to split A. Zeta open with a 2-1-2 setup. Laz is looking to aggress B long this round, find a pick, and then TP away on his site. The barriers drop, Laz puts down his chamber TP and hops onto the double stack. This position lets him hold for jets that like to updraft onto that green container, and it's just an overall strong off angle, especially since Chamber can just TP away right after getting a pick. Wait, what's that? No way, it can't be. Benkai has a shock dart lineup that breaks Laz's chamber TP. Laz is now stuck on an island in B long with no way out.
Now, outside of that though, we do have to look bigger picture eventually, but now that we do.
He gets cleared by the drone and gets taken down by Forsaken. That is a huge read and counter strike by Zeta. PRX explode forward after that pick. Sugar Zero mollies default to delay PRX's plan. Forsaken updrafts, Jing, unfazed by the molly, puts up his sage wall and jumps on it. And Forsaken also lands on the wall to double peek orange. That is super cool. Actually, it looks like Forsaken updrafted a second too early and missed the wall, but I still love the idea. Forsaken plants a spike and Jing actually pushes up orange by himself.
Wanted. Yeah.
Oh, completely unnoted.
No, he's playing way ahead of the curve. They have no idea of the timing they could have had. He's going to be able to get a punish. Where was the communication? Deb goes down. A mistake is happening.
3v2 now in favor of PRX. 10 reses, 3v3 now. It's anyone's round. Mindfreak loops around for the late flank mid. He gets 1, he gets 2.
Mindfreak's found 10, Mindfreak's found another. And now it's just Sugar Zero in a 1v3, and there's no time.
And PRX close out the round. PRX have a full buy with Forsaken popping his jet knives. Zeta are on a save round, but Laz has his chamber ult and 10 bought a rifle half armor this round. Looking at 10's economy, he has enough credits to also full buy next round, so it's all good. This hero rifle buy combined with Laz's chamber op could be Zeta's chance to upset this round and halt PRX's momentum. PRX begin with everyone leaning towards A. Benkai's in spawn with a shock dart lineup for Kitchen. Mindfreak is mid, throwing his default Viper smoke, and the rest of PRX are looking to take control of the A side of the map. Zeta opens with a 1-2-2 setup. They are set up heavily towards mid and A, a great read against PRX's A opening. Crow is lining up a recon arrow for mid, 10 is starting Boiler with his rifle. Let's see what happens. The berries drop, Benkai shoots his shock dart, 10 makes a beeline down mid and a long range fight begins. Pew 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 pew. And 10, with his hero rifle, comes out on top. At the same time on A, Laz pops his chamber ult and Forsaken pops his jet ult. Laz misses his op shot and gets punished by Forsaken. 4v4 now.
The stag's coming through, but Forsaken's open up elsewhere.
It does go for 10 there towards Benkai, and I actually don't mind that spot with the frenzy. Maybe a little one and done, but you're just trying to slow the roll. Maybe allow time for that hero rifle to hit the right site. Looking at what guys Forsaken going to be the tip.
Zeta's Viper Wall deters PRX from pushing up, so they decide to just get a fast plant down with their Sage Wall. This plant spot is out in the open, so all of PRX retreat off site to play the spike.
Doesn't have much more beside that. What's post plant's like? It's not too bad. You still at least have Mind Freak standing, so there is going to be that deeper element to this post plant to clear of Forsaken.
And 10 goes huge with a double kill. That hero rifle is getting an absolute insane amount of value right now. 4v2 now, this save round is actually winnable for Zeta. So Sugar Zero pops his Viper ult for cover to defuse.
And a tap on the spike, the ult goes up and 10! Embodying that hero rifle, but Mind Freak. There's no way you find the timing on this, right? You are irrelevant surely to this round. There it is, goes a little short.
And Mind Freak with the late lurk mid is too late to the party and is forced to save. That was a huge 50 round from Zeta. Last round, Zeta started with a heavy A main and mid setup. Actually, they've been favoring heavy A setups for most of the previous rounds. This round, they decide to completely change it up. Zeta opened with 3 B site, 2 mid, and no 1 A. They're gonna fight for B long and mid control and play retake on A with that Viper Wall. They're constantly changing the setup, making sure PRX can never get a read on them. PRX start with a 4-1-0 opening. They also really want B long control, and they have no one defaulting A. Everyone is on the B side of the map. This may be another bloodbath. The round starts, Laz trips on the tube and regroups yellow with his team. Zeta have 3 players triple posted B long from yellow. PRX are waiting out the stage slope before executing their push. Forsaken updrafts across. This increases the number of angles Zeta need to hold.
Man, it's a triple stack.
Yeah, and they're not backing at all. 10 still sticking around, as is Laz. Sharp already is 10. But PRX know that there's more problems here to try and work out. Laz gonna be forced away, now you're down to 10. And they re-aggress, they re-swing, all 3 of them swing back onto B long. That's beautiful work!
Zeta gets 2 huge picks. They invested 3 players B long. There's no way they're gonna let PRX get this space for free. PRX are down numbers, so Mind Freak knows he needs to make a play to stabilize the round. He lurks through the mid smoke but gets detected by Laz's chamber trip.
I think the trap just got dealt with, so instantly they address it. Mind Freak on the punish though, finding Laz. Overextends towards kitchen and tries to close the gap. The res comes in and we're back to a 4v4.
Mind Freak has full kitchen control, but he's dangerously in the middle of Zeta territory. He's drawing a lot of attention because of his pick and aggressive positioning, so the rest of PRX called to rotate out and end A. But Sugar Zero found an opening to cut PRX's rotations, but Devi was aware of that opening and punishes Sugar Zero. Suddenly, PRX are up numbers. 10 knows that, so he wants to make a play before PRX regroups.
Devi in position to punish that, and 10 now. He's just going to miss Mind Freak on the way out.
Timing.
Oh, he's not!
No, he's not. He caught him on the way back through, and it is 10. Finds Mind Freak, so now they can freely hit that rotation, not worry about the dagger in the back, as the 3v3 should begin. But again, a little bit of an early play. Crow got over here in time. Jing's been caught, and now it's 2. Benkai and Devi. Op still in play, but only 13 seconds. It begs the question, can they even get this plant down? The chip damage didn't quite do enough to take Benkai out of the round, but Dep's going to instantly close that gap. The wall's still in play, and Benkai looks to punish, waiting on the other side for the reveal.
They get
Oh, 10 on the punish of it as well. This retake is on the money so far. Devi, you've been denied vision, line of sight.
And with a wall blocking his op line, Devi has no choice but to save. What an amazing back and forth round. But in the end, Zeta comes out on top to tie up the scoreline. PRX open with a 1-1-3 default. Benkai just wants to show a bit of presence B by shooting a recon B long from spawn. Forsaken is gonna hold mid control for a bit while the rest of PRX work up A together. As for Zeta, they start with a 1-1-3 setup. Once again, they are heavily stacked towards A, mirroring PRX's default. Zeta's opening reads have been absolutely phenomenal so far. The round starts and Zeta's A players aggressively scale forward. They know PRX are on a save, so they're not afraid to push to their advantage. In mid, Crow recons mid for early info, and Forsaken's in position to break the recon. Benkai throws a recon lineup B long, which doesn't get broken by anyone. Both teams are using their Silva util to feel out the map, while the real battle is at A.
Instantly quelling any nerves, because you stepped on the stage, it's a different atmosphere. They hear the steps on the other side. Laz knows someone's at least going for a little jump peek. You do see someone's clearing close here. They do only have frenzies, and they have a little bit behind it, as well as that operator. Not too much, though. Oh, dear. This could...
What is this?
They have no idea. They have...
Dep!
What? Why? Dep's just left in the trap. It's a trade out eventually. I don't think he can filter the weapon back, but I'm sure he wants to, stick it around a little long as Devi's still alive. And he's meant to be the danger man. Laszlo still on it, and 10 by his side. They are standing tall here, and that could have been a disaster waiting, and it just wasn't.
Zeta's A aggression, which could have gone really wrong if Mind Freak happened to look up, beautifully worked out, and they obliterate PRX in the blink of an eye. Both teams are back on full buys and both teams have ops. This makes carelessly dry picking angles significantly riskier. PRX start with 4 towards B and 1 mid. They want to work towards a B execute with their Viper ult. Zeta opens with a 2-2-1 setup, leaning heavily towards B and mid. Once again, Zeta's setup is matching PRX's opening. I know I keep mentioning it, but these reads have been insanely consistent so far. The berries drop, Benkai does the same shot from round 4.
That scares me. That does. A player who feels comfortable on these stages. Depp going walk.
Balaz already adapted and moved his TP. Depp wants to get aggressive this round and walks down tube, but Mindfreak is aware of this habit, so he mollies tube off the start to stop Depp's push. Mindfreak then spams tube right behind his molly, but just barely misses Depp with the spam. Depp has his jet dash and a knob, so he aggressively pushes forward anyways after the molly dissipates. He gets full control of mid. Meanwhile, PRX Silva drones up to clear B long. Jing Sage slows yellow to stop a potential yellow peek from Laz as PRX scale up. Depp has control of all of mid with his Zop, and PRX have shown a ton of presence B main so far, so Crow rotates away from Boiler to stack B. PRX have control of B long, time to clear yellow. They Silver recon yellow. Laz swings to get a pick before the scan hits him, but gets punished by Devi. Notice how all of PRX are scaling up from the right side of B long. This is because Devi wants to hold yellow with his op, and op is the strongest at holding angles, so PRX want to make sure that Devi takes the widest angle for yellow so that he takes first contact instead of his riflers. As a result, Devi is able to punish Laz when he swung yellow. PRX Viper ults for cover to scale onto site. Sugar Zero spams into the Viper ult. He gets one but gets spammed back. Benkai plants a spike. Jing positions towards danger to hold the Viper wall for any potential Zeta swings. The Viper wall goes down and Jing gets jump scared by Devin Crow. 3v3 now, but 10 reses Sugar Zero, shifting the numbers into Zeta's favor. Benkai was ready for it though and Silva ults the res, but he misses his Silva ult and Crow Silva ults him back.
Lockout. And actually one right back at him. They're buying time on either side. Devi, though, still going to be holding the line, but Vision has been slightly taken aback. But look at the absolute array of utility that litters the ground. That spike can't be touched just yet. Devi, just quick as lightning, takes down Sugar Zero. Oh, double! Benkai! He's found 2! Deb can only do so much.
Wow, Zeta grouped up to try to defuse, but the Viper spit got him low, and that set up Benkai for a fat shock dart. So much utility and ults were used that round, but PRX were able to find order in the chaos to take the round. Zeta take a timeout. PRX start with 4 main and 1 mid. They've been playing rounds pretty slow lately, so they want to change up the tempo and hit A fast. As for Zeta, their read is finally off. It had to eventually happen, right? Zeta start off with a 3-0-2 setup. They have 2 fighting for B long, Silva topside holding under 2, a chamber trip in kitchen and mid, with Viper and Chamber shifting towards A after the berries drop. PRX quickly skill up A and Silva drones up. Sugar Zero and Laz are playing together backside, ready to take fights together. But Laz goes rogue and peeks into Devi, who's holding him with a knob. Forsaken runs up to create space on the site and instantly takes down Sugar Zero. Jing Sage walls and plants next to Jen. This plant spot is out in the open, so the rest of PRX back off to play off site. This is their win condition. But that doesn't mean PRX are gonna let Zeta retake space on the site for free. Forsaken is a one-man army trying to pressure Zeta as hard as he can. Jing wants some of that action too, so he also plays on site with Forsaken.
But Depp still got that ult out, so he desperately wants to bring it into use. One knife goes astray, but he's still got a couple more to play with. Jumps in on it. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. PRX
wanted to go fast from the start, and fast they went. They flawlessly won this round in only 40 seconds. PRX start with all 5 players towards A, with Chamber Trips holding the B and mid flank. They're like, okay, this worked really well last round, let's just do it again. Zeta open with a 2-0-3 setup. Sugar Zero is gonna start mid to throw a smoke lineup somewhere before immediately shifting towards A. He also did this last round too, but I'm not sure what kind of Viper smoke he's throwing. Like seriously, if someone knows, please let me know in the comments below, because I genuinely have no idea. Off the start, PRX throw a Sage slow, preventing Zeta from taking the out orb or aggressively pushing from lower. They then follow their Silver drone up. Laz gets spotted by the drone but doesn't get tagged. He decides to stay maze and takes down Forsaken. He greets for another kill and gets Ferrari peeked by Jing. It's a 4v4 now. Zeta's Viper wall is delaying PRX's push, so they use this chance to res Forsaken. The numbers advantage is in PRX's favor now. Depp is playing in an off angle out in the open, hoping to get a kill when PRX's Viper smoke drops, but instead he gets taken down. 5v3 in PRX's favor. Zeta need to make a play to stabilize the round. Crow Silva drones up and tags Forsaken. Sugar Zero runs through his Viper wall to get the kill and gets immediately traded. A 1-for-1 isn't enough to win the round though. Crow swings, hoping to get a pick, and gets taken down by Benkai instead.
Work from PRX, just finding that lovely composure to the hit. Ball goes up, now they know where 10 is. They just pick up the frag towards Mindfreak, and this would be a 1v3 beckoning. Spots the close. That could be a free kill, it is! But look at Jing moving around so swift. That could have been.
He still found the tag again.
Okay.
Phew, that was a lot scarier than it should have been. Gotta be honest, it was a bit of a sloppy round from both sides. The gunfights in Maze were kinda sus since it was basically just 3 players taking 50-50 aim duels. But looking at the big picture, PRX slowly worked their way up together, patiently waited for Zeta's Viper utility to run out, and picked off the anxious Zeta players who were scrambling to make solo plays. So overall, PRX worked together better as a team this round and were rewarded with the round win. Both teams are on a full buy once again. It sure has been a while since the team saved, huh? Gotta thank Jet and Chamberlain for that. PRX opened with a 1-2-2 default. They've played the last 2 rounds relatively fast, now they want to slow down the tempo to change it up. Mindfreak deploys this Viper wall on A. This is a crazy wall. It first blocks off pipes, lower pipes, and the jail angle, so any aggressing defenders will have a harder time peeking into A main. But at the same time, the wall lets defenders lurk up to jail and into nest, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. This wall also gives PRX a bit of cover to scale up on the site, but it also gives the defender control of Maze, which could get a little bit problematic for the attackers. However, in my opinion, I think the main point of this wall is to actually give the mid lurk cover to scale onto site from mid so they can isolate this Maze fight. With the wall also helping PRX maintain control of the left side of this A main area, it seems like a pretty good wall for an A split. Zeta actually opens with an 0-3-2 setup. They're heavily stacked towards mid and A with a chamber trip holding B long. With both teams prioritizing mid control, this round might get a little spicy. The berries drop, Laz walks down tube. Crow Silver recons mid and Mindfreak just barely makes it into his Viper smoke, avoiding the scan. Crow Silver recon sees nothing mid, so Sugar Zero starts shifting towards B. Wait, is that Sugar Zero's Viper smoke? Oh, so that's the lineup he's been throwing from Boiler? It's a Viper smoke to slow down a B main push, and it's thrown all the way from mid, letting Viper play A while having presence B long. That's kinda cool, but we're digressing from the round. Mindfreak can actually hear Sugar Zero running in kitchen towards B, so he walks out of his smoke thinking he has the timing. Jing also walks up, but he stays in Mindfreak's orb to hold for any cheeky Zeta players that push into the smoke. Mindfreak is all the way up Boiler. He's telling his team, guys, I have a huge timing. Go A, go A.
What? He slipped the net so perfectly, he's behind the wire. But
what?
Damn.
The second Mindfreak died, Jing pushes forward. There's no way Zeta will expect the second lurk. Laz, who was holding a passive off ankle in tube, peeks out for info.
Okay, you're gonna check that, are you?
And he takes down Forsaken, who was late to group up mid. But because Laz didn't see any other PRX players, Zeta thinks mid is clear. With teammates dying all around him, Jing has managed to find an insane pocket of timing.
Laz in kind. It's the 1-2 punch and they go down, but PRX still exploring towards middle. Jing, it looked like he was so ready for this. He hears this noting of Crow, but it's not just Crow, it's Sugar Zero, and they go for the cross together, and they die together! Crow 9 and Sugar Zero down, wall goes up, he keeps his life. Jing's still fighting the good fight for PRX. He's still doing the damage! What? Jing's immovable in mid! And now where's Laz in this, sweating bullets? And Jing's already on the case. This guy goes down, turns for a second. Vision depleted, Divire right back.
Jing's huge play mid, born from the sacrifices of his teammates, wins the round for PRX. PRX start with 1 mid and 4A. They just want to keep it simple and hit A with maybe a late lurk mid. As for Zeta, they open with a 1-2-2 setup. Since they're heavily leaning towards A, they'll be able to instantly have 4 players fighting to defend the site if PRX decide to commit A. Once again, Zeta have a great read for their opening setup. The barriers drop and PRX all scale up from belt together with a drone. Zeta's mid players immediately rotate A, Crow promptly counter droning for info. The drone sees 3 PRX players. As PRX are focused on shooting the drone, 10 sage walls between Gen and 4 tend to slow down PRX's push. Not only that, 10 also walls himself up along with the wall and catches the Vi off guard.
Essentially here, and PRX have shown they've got the money before, they've got the goods, but 10 this time at least can deliver the first. Takes down the individual, the one who's left a little bit further right. 10. Finest of margins between these two.
Both teams are at a standstill, PRX spamming down 10 Sage Wall and Zeta remaining quiet, wanting to bait PRX into their 4-man stack site. Benkai shoots a recon onto site and 10 immediately breaks the recon, so PRX now know where one Zeta player is. Before 10 can reposition, Benkai Silva ults 10, and Forsaken uses Benkai's ult as cover to run up and take down 10, who was preoccupied with dodging the Silva ult. Benkai also unintentionally takes down Crow with the Silva ult, which is huge for PRX. Jing also scales up during all the chaos and takes down Dep as he was focused on trying to shoot the ziplining Forsaken. Laz sees his teams dropping like flies, so he rushes to flank PRX, but Mindfreak was ready for it and punishes Laz. Sugar Zero, now in a 1v4 in the final round of the half.
Laz and Sugar Zero, there's a man behind the lines. They had no idea that Mindfreak was there. And now it's Sugar Zero and a Spectre. This would be heroics of the height.
Sugar Zero falls as he scrambles to find kills, and PRX take the round, ending the half with an 8-4 lead.